Meanwhile, it's been a day after India's retail inflation hit a 67-month low. Agencies like CRISIL and Moody's have maintained that India's GDP growth forecast to be at 6.5% through the next fiscal year. India also became the first ever country to recover all its market losses due to Trump tariffs. India's markets have rallied for 3 consecutive days, with Sensex crossing 77,000 mark. India's exports have also surged 5.5% in the recent year and are estimated at $820 billion. Meanwhile, Trump has hiked tariffs on China to a total of 245%, is what he has warned. He has said that the ball is now in China's court to make a deal with America. China has reacted and warned Trump against exerting pressure amidst concerns of India facing the impact of Trump's tariffs. What is the state of the economy and what can we expect next? Let's start our conversation. Joining me on the telecast is Sharad Kohli. Thank you. And the first question arises is that a record low when it comes to the inflation in the country at 3.34% for the month of March. What does it indicate?
Good evening, Megha. Good evening to my fellow Economist and the NewsX viewers. Yes, I think 67 months low, this particular inflation, 3.34%. And a huge relief which has come on the food inflation front, because food inflation was the one which was really causing a headache to RBI. And it was a matter of concern for the whole country as such. Even the government was concerned. So was the Reserve Bank of India. And I think all out steps were being taken to try and see that food inflation comes under control. There was a lot of hoarding. There was black marketing. There were supply chain disruptions, which I'm glad they have been set right. And other parameters, when we talk of the economy, we talk of exports crossing $820 billion. Out of this, $440 billion plus is merchandise, which is very good. GST collections at almost 2 lakhs a month. Direct tax collections growing between 16 to 20% per annum. The purchase managers index not in a bad shape at all. Take any parameter for that matter. But there are, mega two opposite winds blowing in the country at this time. Whereas the domestic scenario looks very good. But when you look at the international scenario, there is complete uncertainty thanks to the tariff, Donald Tariff Trump, the Trump administration having declared trade war. And, 5 business associations, Megha, in America have filed a writ in the court that after all, trade deficit which America has with the rest of the countries is not sinful. It is not possible to have a 0-0 with all the countries. It is normal for countries to have, trade surpluses and trade deficits. His approval rating has gone down. On economic front, President Trump's approval rating has gone down to 30% or 33%, sharply down from the time he was elected just a few months ago. His ratings on immigration may have still been over 50%, but his ratings on economic front, Megha, has gone down. As for our country, we have been negotiating. There's a BTA in the process, which is most likely to be converted to an FTA. So we are not at all in a bad position vis-a-vis tariff. But then we cannot forget the fact, Megha, that if 2 of the largest economies are thickly involved in a trade war, we cannot remain immune completely like the rest of the world. $50 trillion is the GDP when added together of America and China. So we cannot remain immune if they get into this severe 245% tariffs, which today were spoken of, basically means don't trade with us. Imagine if America and China stop trading with each other. What happens? There'll be dumping carried out by China. President Xi Jinping is already on a mission. He's going to Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia. He's trying to bring them together to see where he's going to dump his goods now. And America, what are Americans going to do? They were so used to these Chinese goods. How are they going to manage? Either there's going to be inflation or there's going to be shortage of goods. Or, America is going to spell itself into recession. Can President Trump set up factories? The reason why he exempted mobile phones and laptops and computers is because he got a ground report that, for God's sake, these factories cannot be set up overnight. As if the rest of the factories can be set up overnight. Even they are not going to be set up. I'm sure the reality of these announcements are gradually sinking into. And I was the first one on your channel. I normally don't boast, I don't flaunt, but I was the first one on your channel when on 2nd April he made these announcements. I said he will have to soften his stand. And you wait and see, he will have to soften the stand further. But if China, America, they get into a trade war, I have a feeling, and I would hesitate to say that, Megha, that this can also lead to a geopolitical conflict because it is going to cause extreme economic distress between the two countries. Where this is heading towards, both the countries will have to sit down together. That's the only way this can be resolved. There is no other way, Megha.
Okay, all right.